Level 1.
Hello and welcome to episode 77 of the Total Evecade podcast. I am your host, Blunners, and tonight we will be talking about a bit of Doom, what publisher collections have been hits and misses, that new Funstock website, and also a bit of Dear Derek, so you have to get them questions in. Like I always do, I gift a membership and it's gone to you, Mr. Vernon Couchman. So really hope you enjoy that. And what we have been doing has been doing members only content after the show that only goes to our members. And that question is handheld, VS, console, or alpha. Which one do you prefer and why? So that is only for the members only. We'll be doing that after the show. So I'll keep talking rubbish, but let's see who else we've got with us. I've got Mr. Tim Triangle Face. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Good evening.
Good. Also got Andy C in the house, the computer man. How are you?
Great to be here again.
And also the man, the myth, the legend, Sir Top and Hat. How are you, Derek?
Oh, gamers, it's going to be an awesome night, so stay tuned.
So yeah, don't forget, it is obviously Pancake Day, so don't forget to flip them pancakes. I think I've already made about 50 because I had all my family around earlier. Right, before we start, we have got 2 streams going. There is a vertical one that I have to do for my YouTube homework because that hits the shorts feed. But if you want to, come over into our non-vertical one, into horizontal one, where we all normally are. So quickly run through the chat and see who we've got. Skippins, Nick Craddock. Oh, Skippins again. Timothy Earnshaw. Got Gene Jake. Who else have we got in here? Caged Thunder. Mr. Peter Earnshaw, Sheppy, 1243, Chris Dunham, Morley. All right, Morley, Gamertron. What else we got on here? We've got James Barker, the Brookie. We've got Ross. There's so many people in here. We're just putting a rest in peace in trousers. Yeah, we will. Morley, but we've also got Cabbage Face in the house and the main man, Mr. Rob Taylor himself. Good evening, Rob. So,
thank you for that donation.
Show like we always do, and that is, what are you playing? So, Tim, let's go over to you. What are you playing?
Ooh, what have I been playing? Well, I thought I'd actually go through what I've been playing on this cart. So, I'm actually going to go onto the site and share my screen to have a look at it. So, let's do that. He says, well prepared. Let's share the screen. Yeah, it's all ready. It's all ready to go. Right. Let's go on there and see. So I've been playing. I got this for my birthday. So I've got Pico Collection 4. And yeah, let's go through the game. So this has got the fidgets. Didn't really like this one. It's one of those games where you can control one or the other and you flip back and forth between the two. So you'll be the tall one that can jump a bit further and carry stuff, and then you can be the little one that you got to follow behind. Played it for a little while, wasn't overly impressed. It reminded me a little bit of the Mary Kate and Ashley games, like the Olsen Twins games that I played on like the Game Boy Advance and stuff. It's like
your favourite, Tim.
Yeah, playing some Olsen Twin games, but not. I would actually say the Olsen Twin games was better than the fidgets. So
what?
Sorry for any fidgets fans, but yeah. Then we have got Star X. It is a bit, as you can see from the screenshot there, it is very much like Lilac Wars / Star Fox. And it's pretty good, actually. I was never really that big on these sorts of games because I didn't have a SNES back in the day. I never really played Lilac Wars until years later. I'm struggling a little bit with this on the handheld, so I might try this on the VS and see if it's any better. Next up, we have got Mermaids of Atlantis. I did not get on with this. I'm going to try and persevere with it, but it's actually really confusing my brain because things get up rather than down. So I'm used to like bubble games like stuff coming down, but it goes up. And then if something lands, if there's a gap between the bubble and the top of the screen, it just automatically fills in with empty bubbles. And I'm just dying really easily. I'm failing the level really easily. So I haven't quite learnt the knack of that yet. So I might persevere and see if I can get the trick to getting a longer score. Next on the card, we had Bad Street Brawlers. This is actually quite fun. Fun thing about this is you have 2 moves. Like first level, you get a punch and a kick, and then you can do like a ear twist. I think it is like grandpa an ear twist. And then on the second level, it changes the moves. So it's still the same controls, but your 2 moves change each level. And then instead of doing a punch and a kick, you do like a throw and like a jumping kick rather than a sweep kick, and it changes what your moves are. It would be a fairly easy game if it wasn't for the time limits. You cannot hang about. You have to like run forward and just keep smacking people and kicking dogs until you can get to the end on time. And then there's like a giant monkey. Yeah, it's a bit crazy. Actually, I quite enjoyed that one, and that also plays quite well on the EXP. Didn't feel like I needed to have a bigger screen. That worked well on the small screen and was fun. But yeah, I think definitely the thing that makes that is the time limit. You have to hurry up because you do run out of time. I then had Skulljagger. Does that say Skulljagger Revolt of the Westerkans? I didn't really give this game much of a chance, don't think. Maybe I've judged it too harshly, but I was not a fan. It looks a lot nicer than it is. Like graphically, it looks like it's quite a nice game, but I found it quite dull and generic. But I've only really played the first area, so maybe it improves, but I don't feel there is really much to that one. The next on the cart was Target Renegade. I actually really liked this. And at first, I might have to look at the dates of when this came out, and Derek might know this anyway, because he's an encyclopedia of gaming knowledge. But it said it's known as one of the first beat-em-up games. When I first played it, I was like, oh, this is just like Double Dragon. But did this come out before Double Dragon? And is it the other way around? Is Double Dragon just like this? Yeah, that's actually really fun. The first bit I played is like a guy on a motorbike coming across the screen, and you've got to do like a jump kick to knock him off. But I didn't know that at first. So the first go I had, I didn't get past the first screen because this guy on a bike just kept on running me over. And I'm trying to punch him off the bike and it's just not working. But once I figured out you could do a flying jump kick and that deals with the bikes nicely, I got a lot further. And yeah, that's really fun actually for such an old beat 'em up game as well. It actually plays very smoothly. It's quite clean. When I've played like some really old retro beat 'em ups, they're a bit clunky, but considering when this came out, I actually think it's quite an impressive beat 'em up game. So that is definitely worth a play. Street Racer, I think, is probably one of the top games on the cart. I struggled with it on the EXP, though, with a small screen because of the pop-up and loading. It's quite hard to control as well. And you go back and we're used to playing like Mario Kart 8 and all the newer ones. If you go back and play like the NES, like SNES Mario Kart, it's quite hard to like turn and stuff. You have to get used to it. So I think there's going to be a bit of a learning curve for me to get back into Street Racer. And I know it's good from playing it years ago and having it on the Mega Drive. So I'm going to persevere with it and get back into it. But I think this will play better on the VS than on the EXP because, the screen was just a bit too small and it's hard to kind of see what's coming up next when it's quite a fast-paced game. The next one, Zero Tolerance Underground. I was not a fan of this. It's weird. If you see from the screenshot there, most of your screen is taken up with like your map and your ID card and your inventory. You get this really thin letterbox space. So again, might try that. I've only played on this week on my EXP, so I might try that again on the VS, but it wasn't very smooth controls. It was suddenly really fast as well. Like you're walking forward and the walls are like popping up and flowing past you. And it kind of just disorientates you a bit. It's like, my eyes can't track what's going on here. But yeah, not bit of a miss, that one. Wasn't a big fan. Risky Woods was not a fan of that one. It looks great. Visually, it's got great graphics. It's got a nice little soundtrack. It looks like it's got all the elements to be a fun game. And for some reason, I don't know why it bothered me so much. It really annoyed me. They had to pick stuff up while like crouching on it. And lots of enemies drop like these coins. And I was like, can't I just walk into the coin and pick it up? I would have just been a lot faster going across that. But I have to constantly stop and pick up these coins. I was like, nah, this is just annoying me now. So I might give it another go, but I wasn't a big fan of Risky Woods. So it's a bit of a hit and miss card. I think there's enough games on it that I enjoyed that make it worthwhile. But I think the tipping point is going to be if I like Glover. Never played Glover before. I'm yet to play it on the cart. I'm kind of building up to it. I was like, right, I'm going to play everything else on the cart first and then finish with Glover. So perhaps I will feedback on Glover on the next TEP and let you know what I thought. But that is what I've been playing this week. Been playing Pico Collection 4.
Interesting. You haven't played Glover yet because
Never
that's the 64-bit version as well. So yeah, you really have to let us know how you get on.
I deliberately waited because I was like, I'm not going to jump straight into Glover because I think I want to dedicate some time to it and play through it properly. So I thought I'll have a little go on some of these other games, like a bit of the brawler games and things like that, just to see which ones are good. And yeah, it's a good mix. I would say maybe about 50-50 split of good games and not so good games for me, at least.
What would you give it? How many triangles out of 10 you're going to give it?
I think I need to play Glover before I can answer that, because if I really like Glover, it's going to be probably quite high up their cart.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Well, Andy, what have you been playing?
What have I been playing? Well, do you know, I kind of, they announced at the start of January the dip switches for the Neo Geo games, and along with that, Everacade announced that they'd be bringing in dip switches for Windjammers, which was, believe it or not, the first Neo Geo game we got on Everacade, but it hasn't arrived. So I decided to revert to form and see, could I actually win a game on Windjammers? And I couldn't. So it's an impossible game. Might work well as a 2-player game. 1-player game, I just cannot play it. It's too hard. Can't win a single game with Windjammers. So that one went out the window fairly quick. And I reverted to form and started pining for the lack of indie games that we currently have on Evercade. And I started back on all the Indie Heroes games, and they've been kind of living in my Super Pocket case there for the last week or two. And they're fantastic. I mean, highly recommended to anybody who doesn't have them. All 4 Indie Heroes carts are worth having in your collection. There are a few dud games there, here and there, but they have enough quality on them that you need to have every one of them. I played a lot of Donut Dodo. I'm rubbish at that as well. Second level, but it keeps drawing me back in. The stuff from Low Tech is brilliant. Tapeworm, Flea, even Flea 2, which has its critics. I persevered, and I don't know how many save states I've used, but I persevered and managed to get a substantial way through that game. What else was I playing? Oh, Alien Cat. I was comparing. It's on Indie Heroes 1 and 3, I think. So the extended version is on 3 and the original version on 1, I think. So there's a difference between the two. Well worth getting those cartridges. And I was just on Amazon about 10 minutes before we start the show, and they currently have 1 copy of Indie Heroes 1 left, which is now Legacy.
Oh, it goes Legacy, Legacy.
Yeah.
Fastest finger on the buzzer if you want to play it.
Yeah, you want it. So
I think 1's still probably my favourite out of the 4 as well, because 1's got
1 is very good.
I really like Dedius as well.
That's brilliant, yeah.
That's a really fun game. And it's got what's the other one? Quest Arrest. I quite enjoy as well. Dedius and Quest Arrest are both really good sort of Game Boy.
There's the other Game Boy one on it is great as well. It's a racing one. Kind of left to right kind of racing one, and you have to dodge the various.
Oh yes, I know the one. Is it Chain Break?
Chain React. Chain Break. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that one.
So before we do move on, Evercade put out today, it is happy anniversary to Windjammers, which released on this day 1994. So yeah, happy anniversary. Donut Dodo, do not like little bit of I was rubbish at it, and I only got good when we were at Knott's VGE, and I had a crowd of people behind me watching me, and I was shitting myself, and I was last to go out of R3, and I just thought, you know what, I'm going to take my time and get all them flashing donuts, and do not rush. Don't rush yourself. Get them flashing donuts in order, because then you then quicken, you can get lives back. Yeah, so that's the only bit of I can just say.
How many levels is there actually in Donut Dodo? Does anyone know?
Yeah,
because
it's
it loops back,
and it goes
doesn't it?
back.
If you go back to
Yes.
level 1, but
Yeah,
with like
so
a
it goes
higher
back,
speed.
then it goes fine, then it goes back to level 1, but makes it a bit harder. It's that
Right.
blooming toilet on that first level chasing you around everywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, so right, let's go over to Derek. Derek, what have you been playing?
Well, first of all, it was great to hear Tim talking there about the Pico collection. Big fan there of Bad Street Brawlers. People in the comment section, of course, might remember it as Street Hassle on the Commodore 64. Yeah, really fun game. And yeah, there's bosses like basketball players and all sorts of stuff, and old grannies you can put above your head and spin them round and whatnot, and they'll bash you with their handbags. So great bit of fun there. And also I really enjoyed Andy there telling us about the indie games. I really big on the indie scene with Evercade. So yeah, we certainly want to see a lot more of that coming. As for myself, this week I've been on the alpha again, and of course I'm back to my Namco Collection 1. I really do enjoy those Namco games. I've also got Switch, which is connected online, and I've really been practicing hard. So I wanted to come back to the NES originals. And I must admit, especially on the alpha, when you're playing like Dig Dug, it doesn't feel like the NES version. It really does feel like you're playing the arcade version. You really need to sort of try it in the alpha to get that feeling. But when you do and you see it on the screen and the high score tables and everything, it really does feel like it's the arcade version. Such a fantastic collection.
I
favorite
don't
on there,
have
Pac-Man.
I don't have that, Derek, but I was tempted. And I went on the Frasier's website and they had the OG original Evercade handheld, brand new, with 2 legacy carts for €40, right? I went and put it in my basket.
Oh,
When I went to check out, it said it was a 2-person delivery, like it was a piece of furniture. And the postage was working out at €70. So I was going to contact them the following morning to see what the story here is. And when I went in the following morning, it wasn't there anymore. So, but yeah, I had the OG, brand new with 2 legacy. One of them was the Namco collection. I think the other one was Atari. And yeah, so I missed out.
what a nightmare.
Mm.
So yeah, Derek, is that you done what you were playing?
Yep, that's been pretty much it this week, is get those Namco carts in there and just give them a really good blasting. It's just easy to pick up and play when you've got lots of things on and you can't really dedicate your time too much to adventure and things like that. I just sometimes just want to go in, have some high scores and have some fun.
Yeah. So, well, what I've been playing is I was playing Good Boy Galaxy, which one was mainly playing Good Boy Galaxy because I still haven't finished it. I get so frustrated. I find myself just keep going back round trying to work different ways to get through, and I just get a bit pissed off and just think, oh fuck it. Just, you know what I mean? You're trying to like go, oh, can I break the game by like trying to jump through this area without losing my backpack or losing my jump or losing my gun or whatever. So yeah, so I've been trying to do that. But then there was a drop of a brand new demo that came out for and I ended up making a video on Cathedral Crow's Curse, which I've also had the developers contact to me in the comments, which is fantastic. So little plug if you want to go and see that. So then what I did is I ended up going back and playing Cathedral, and the Last Awakened cart is one of my favorite carts on the Evercade. And the new game is so good. Cannot wait. There's no release date or anything for that, and it'll be way too powerful for us on Evercade at the minute. But yeah, it is out there. And it's like a prequel, to be honest. But yeah, so they're the two things I've been playing. So there was a little bit of news actually in the 2 weeks we've been off. And was it the day after we recorded last time? There was an announcement, and it is Doom is coming to the Evercade. So I'll quickly just load up what was shown, what actually came out, and it seemed to like, for me personally, I wasn't one I was actually expecting to come out. So I don't know where the first look. I'll just quickly refresh this page. So yeah, Doom for Evacade, and it's all coming in line with ID's 35th anniversary, or ID, I don't know how they call it, but and this is what dropped. So yeah, so what is everyone's thoughts on Doom coming to the Evercade? So we'll start with you, Andy. What are your thoughts of Doom?
Well, they haven't announced much about it, so it's yet to be seen what they're going to do. I just hope they don't make it bog standard, because it's very easy to, for people to have Doom and have played Doom. So it'd be nice if they had some sort of oddity to it, that they might include maybe a Game Boy Advance version, or something that maybe mightn't be as mainstream. You'd probably assume that it'll be the PlayStation 1 version of Doom 1 and Doom 2, but I hope they just go a slightly different direction. I was kind of swatting up as well on Doom and what it runs on, and there's loads of articles online. I don't know if you've seen them, but people have got Doom running on everything from pregnancy tests to
Yes.
God knows what, Raspberry Pi Picos to office telephones and whatnot. So I hope that they bring something to the party that maybe people don't have, because like if you have an emulation system and you install Recalbox, Doom comes with it. Like, it's not that rare, it's not that unusual. So I hope that they bring something that's makes it stand out and makes people want to buy it for Evercade, rather than just go, yeah, it's grand. But
Yeah, so Derek, what were you thinking when you heard this news? Well, you would have known about it. How big is it for us?
Well, I've got plenty of Dooms on the PS1 and the Quakes and all that sort of stuff. Obviously, I've been back through them on the heat of this news. I gave them a really good play. Obviously, I've played the remasters on the Switch and things like that. So what was my, as you said, they're more than likely going to go with the PS1 versions. But how did my experience go? Well, while the original Doom is a landmark in gaming, and we're not going to dispute that, there were several factors whilst playing it that really made it quite a frustrating experience. The first one, whilst playing it on the TV, on the PS1, it was the low resolution. The pixelated textures, the limited color palette, gave me significant eye strain. And to be honest, it made it difficult to distinguish some objects. Obviously, we appreciate that all the baddies that you come across are front facing. They're sort of one dimensional. They're not actually 3D like you would encounter in a modern FPS. Many levels, of course, are like labyrinths. And I spent more time, believe it or not, looking for colored key cards and switches than actually fighting demons, which was a bit frustrating. I mean, after 45 minutes of looking for a switch, that's not the type of game I want to play in modern day. The game also used a lot of cheap gotcha traps. So when I went into rooms, for instance, a wall would open from behind me, 10 baddies would come out that you didn't even see, and you start losing energy straight away. So, I mean, that was pretty tough going. I would say it was, it was not just unfair, but, it certainly made the game a lot more challenging. Also, the obscure puzzles. I came across a few levels where basically you've got to try and trigger a wall. Now, the wall is exactly the same color as all the other walls. So, I mean, you can be going around for an hour, pressing against every wall in sight, trying to get it to open, or you've got to shoot it, or something like that. I mean, this was a complete and utter nightmare. As I say, I'm a big Doom fan. I own the Dooms, but yeah, I mean, for me, the PS1 version isn't the angle I would go for. Richard Parkin from Games Attic. I had the pleasure of playing Doom on the 32X, the Sega 32X, and actually that isn't too bad a version. If Blaze could get that running, that's certainly an angle which not many people have played. Also, the Atari Jaguar version Now that is exceptional, and really that's the one we want on the platform if possible. But yeah, I mean, the original PC version of Doom, again, a lot better resolution-wise and runs a lot better. If Blaze could get that going, that would be absolutely fantastic. But to get something that basically I picked up at a car boot for 50 pence, a PlayStation 1 game each, I don't really want to drop 20 quid on a collection. So yeah, the Game Boy Advance versions, obviously they've got Doom 1 and 2. They're not too bad, to be honest. But as I say, for me, either the PC or the Atari Jaguar is the way to go. But I certainly had a little bit of fun there. But I must admit, after about 45 minutes of looking for a key, I started to wonder, do you know what? I think, I want to go back to my Switch. So yeah, it's something Blaze has to be very, very careful of. Obviously, the Duke Nukems, they featured them. They were okay. I wouldn't say I had exceptional fun on any particular Duke Nukem. It was okay. But yeah, as I say, with the Doom ones, I think it's very, very important also that Blaze get these play tested correctly, because obviously there's no crouch options and things like that. Also, you can get a bit of motion sickness playing original Doom and things like that. So again, it's something they really, really need to get in some people that are used to these games and play them. I completed Doom. It didn't take too long, to be honest. Once you get the right weapons, you're sort of off. But as I say, it can get very confusing, very disorientating. So yeah, I would really, really want Blaze to get this heavily, heavily tested ahead of launch, and hopefully they've got that time if it's not coming to like Christmas 26. So yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah. So some really valid and great points there, Derek. But yeah, Tim, what are you thinking about with Doom coming?
Yeah, I think Andy and Derek have covered this quite well, and a lot of people in the chat are agreeing. It's all about what version are we going to get, because Doom is a very accessible game. There's lots of different versions of Doom, lots of ways to play it. So I don't think in that sense Doom is like a rare find to want to drop like 20 quid on to get it on a cartridge. But it all comes down to what versions of Doom are going to be on there in the collection. You've mentioned like the Game Boy Advanced versions and things like that. I think there might have been a post either in our Facebook group or in the Evecade Hangout from someone posting, I think it was like Game Boy Advance version of Doom in like a CEX, and it was going for silly money. So if that's on there, just as a collector's item of having that version of the game on a cart with some other versions, I think would make it really appealing, because the cost of that on the original hardware is ridiculous. And yeah, obviously the other thing that's been mentioned in the chat is a native version. So will we get a new version of Doom that is an Evercade exclusive? I think that would be really interesting if we could get something like that. That'd be really cool. Yeah, we'll have to see what they bring out. It'd be nice. I'd quite like to see like a native version of Doom that they've remastered, and then like some things like the other Game Boy Advance versions and things like that, and some obscure ones. I think that would actually then be a worthwhile cart to pick up. But if it is just, like Derek said, like the PS1 version of Doom whacked on a cart, might not be as appealing.
I think that's the big danger. I mean, that they'll just, and if you go by recent form, that's kind of the route they took with Broken Sword. Let's take the worst version and throw it on a cart. And you can even argue with the likes of the Tomb Raider stuff. Maybe they could have gone a different route than the PlayStation 1 versions. My fear is that they're just going to take Doom 1, Doom 2, the PlayStation 1 versions, dump them on a cart, and then call it a gigacart because they're two PlayStation games, and they'll charge 25 quid, for two fairly basic old games. And I don't think people are going to buy into that. I don't think people are going to fork out 25 quid for Doom 1, Doom 2, PlayStation 1 versions. But I mean, like Derek said, if you can get the other versions, they're an oddity, they're some way different, and people probably would buy them then.
But yeah, I think you're bang on there, Andy. Exactly what I was just about to say. It all depends on what versions we are getting. If you were going to slap this and call it a gigacart, I'm out, mate. I'm out. Just like no lighty, no lighty, I'm out. So yeah, I just don't. It's just got to be. Like we've said, if it's just the PlayStation 1 version slapped on and called a gigacart, I think you are going to struggle. It's also interesting, when is this actual 35th anniversary. I think it's like November time. So is this one of the carts we're getting at Christmas? So do you know what I mean? It's not actually going to be for a while, and I think they've only had to announce it. Is it because it leaked? Did it leak somewhere? I think I heard it before. I'm not sure. Have to double check that. But yeah, I just feel that it's got to be. It's great. We've got ID or ID, whatever they call it, because they've got Quake. They then opens up for other adventures, like we said, with kind of like with the rare carts. But I am worried because, like you said, if we're going to get these other ones, also just because Doom, it doesn't mean that it might, it'll just be Doom. It might include other ID games. Yes, exactly what I've just said. It might be, if it was an ID collection, that'd be a bit different. But if it is just, it's just so vague.
The way it's been announced, I'm anticipating a Doom cart.
Yeah, it's so vague.
Like we had with the Duke Nukem collection, things like that. It's going to be a Doom themed collection, but it could perhaps be another cart for ID software afterwards,
which would be great if we can get other stuff. I think it's probably.
I mean, if you look at the back catalog, it'd have Doom. Yes, it's iconic, and yes, it's well known, but maybe more so because of what the modern games have done for Doom. They have much stronger games in their back catalog than Doom, like Wolfenstein or even Sigil. If they could get Sigil working on Evercade, that'd be fantastic because it's so odd, it's so weird, and it's kind of a passion project that John Romero had, that let's create a new set of Doom levels. So if you could get Sigil working, that will be a real big sell. But Doom as it's on its own, I can't really see it being that popular.
Yeah, we said Commander Keen. Do you know what I mean? They've got all kinds of stuff. So I have done a poll in the chat. Said,
that's what everybody's asking for. Everybody's asking for Commander Keen.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
everyone is. So that'd be a great one to have over. But yeah, 85% of people in the chat so far that have answered both streams have said that they're going to be dropping on Doom. So 85 is quite a good number. So it'd be quite interesting to see where this goes and what it leads to. And it's what we've been asking for something. We've been asking for something, haven't we? Yeah.
The thing is, Doom 1 and 2 remasters I picked up on the Switch for 120 quid. Yeah. So a gigacart with, even if you did 2 masters, the Switch versions have also got all the additional content. So all the, they did like packs, didn't they? Like Doom packs. You can go into all those packs as well. So Blaze need to be looking at that. Perhaps do the PC version and what additional packs they do for Doom, and try and get some of those packs on there, because that would make it quite interesting.
Well, to put it in context, I picked up the Doom 2016 version for PlayStation 4. It was the one with the huge big statue, the model, and it has a battery powered fan in the bottom and shines red light up and all the rest of it, and it has a steel book and all the rest of the big presentation box. 20 quid in my local game store. So it puts it into context,
Wow. But yeah, so let's leave Doom there.
Everybody's got it, see?
Yeah, everyone has got it, but let's leave Doom there and let's go on to my next topic, which is there's a new Funstock website. We were didn't really know about this because I don't really shop on Funstock, but they've got a new section on there, and that is the VIP bit. So what are we thinking this VIP bit is for? Is this just is it trying to get people to sign up to Evacade? Because obviously I'm just showing it now. Anyone want to jump in on this new Funstock website?
First off, it's free, so why not? Because you can sign up to free for it to be a VIP. They always have done like the special offers and stuff, haven't they? Like, bundles that come with hats and socks. Hopefully one day Everpants.
Birthday discounts.
Birthday discounts. Yeah, that sounds cool. Like, again, I think maybe it's going to draw more people in for that different experience of getting something unique to Funstock. because I'll confess I don't really use Funstock very much. I tend to go through just Amazon. You know, I don't tend to pre-order. Tend to just when I've got enough to be able to afford a cart, I'll go to Amazon and pick one of my missing carts. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Go on.
This here, legacy carts, all legacy Everacade carts will be available exclusively to VIP club members only in the future. So join today to complete your collection. That is fucking huge. That's massive.
Yeah.
So if you have to be a VIP member to have a legacy cart, but yeah, and also limited editions.
Yeah. So does this mean then that they're going to take those things away from other areas where you could get the limited edition stuff from the special bundles, typically through Funstock, or is this going to be extra stuff on top of that? Or are they going to go, right, we're now going to make all of this part of the VIP club and not offer those to anyone who's not included?
To me, it looks like it's going to only be for Funstock. But yeah,
well,
I didn't realize
that would definitely drive more people to buy via Funstock, I think, because that birthday discount, you know, possibility of getting legacy carts, that alone is enough, I think, to draw people in.
Definitely. So
how does the VIP club work?
You literally just sign in.
Just sign in.
Yeah,
that's
there's
all
no
I've done.
subscription fee or anything, is there?
No, I just filled that in, and then it gave me a code, and I put that in, and it said you're in.
Okay.
But maybe you're going to get emails to you that then takes you to a separate web page or something. I'm not 100% sure.
It's really weird that all
but
legacy Evercade carts will be available exclusively to VIP club members only. That
must be.
How can they be legacy if they're still available?
How does that work? Where have they found them? Where have they found these legacy carts?
Well, the ones down the back of the sofa.
I was just about to say that. They found a couple of legacy carts down the back of the sofa, and that's launched the VIP club.
In saying that, last year I had a problem with Technos Arcade, and I let them know about it, and they sent me a replacement copy, but it was Technos Collection 1 instead of Technos Arcade. And that must have been like maybe 2 years after Technos Collection 1 went legacy. And they still had a copy they could send me, like. So they must have a back catalogue or some sort of amount of these available to send out.
Yeah. Derek, do you know anything about this?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, you can sign up there. Everything is pretty much exclusive to Funstock anyway. If you think about it, you could only buy those colourful SPs. You can only get the hats and the socks and things through Funstock and the calendars and things. So all you're really doing is signing up for an email, to be honest, and then obviously you can go through. You can still buy the same stuff. It's just, you know, people that perhaps have stumbled on Funstock, they'll only get to see, you know, standard items like 2 cartridges. They wouldn't get the bundle. But then, you know, the item in the bundle isn't free anyway. You're paying like 15 quid for socks or whatever. So, yeah, I mean, it just depends on the individual. I mean, obviously, it'd be future Evercade cartridges. It wouldn't be like Technos or, you know, sort of Namco and things like that. It'll be sort of ones which are going legacy sort of now or, you know, very recently that they would still hold stock of. But, yeah, I mean, it's a different angle they're trying. Yeah, good luck to them. If it works, it works. I tend to pick cartridges up perhaps one at a time. So I go to retailers that do free shipping on one cartridge. And then I can dedicate my time to that rather than get 2 at a time and, yeah, and sort of get dragged away trying to play the 2. So, yeah, I mean, it's nice to see it's had a refresh. I think it's about time. And yeah, who knows in the future what extra things they could potentially add to it. As I say, even if it's a birthday discount at 10% on a couple of cartridges, that's very welcome. And it's about time Funstock was doing something like that to compete. If you look at other retailers like Game Collection, for instance, they do points on your purchases, and then that builds up discounts on games. I think they should have gone down that route, really, for anybody that signs up to Funstock. and then that way they might have pulled in a bit more business. But yeah, certainly this angle, it's worth a try.
Yeah. So one thing I've just noticed as well is Hyper Megatech's in here, and that's one thing I want to just put out to everyone, because I've been doing some of them legacy streams because we're trying to get on the shorts feed and all that. So I've been doing legacy streams because we've got over 80 hours of Evacade content. So I was like, I want to start sharing it with people who aren't in our community and try and build it a bit bigger. And one I was listening to was Hyper Megatech was just got announced at the time, and we were getting promised board games, like action figures, all kinds of stuff. So I want to ask you guys: do you think Hyper Megatech has it helped, or has it been a hindrance? Has it done anything for Funstock at all in your eyes? So we're really interesting. So for me personally, I don't really understand what the point in it was. I don't know why they just didn't put it under the Evercade umbrella, because it's what they wanted to do, and it's what they've actually done now just by putting it in at Funstock. But yeah, when I was just odd. I'm just seeing it's just triggered me, because I was like, at the time when I was watching back the episode and it was like board games and figures and stuff. Well, where are they? Because it's been 3 years and still haven't heard anything.
I think it has a lot to do with liability, and that they wanted to go down this route as a venture, but they didn't want to risk what they already had built under the Evercade banner. So if they incorporate a new company, a new limited company, Hyper Megatech, and it goes belly up, it means that Evercade is still, and Blaze are still protected.
Great. Yeah, I didn't think of that. Yeah.
Only Hyper Megatech can be liquidated then. Now it appears it has gone pretty well, and like I have a good few of these now, and I always kind of have it with me, and I bring it to work, and whatever at lunchtime I can play Super Pocket. I don't have any Super Micros. I don't know if you guys do. I don't think that has worked, but certainly my view on it is that they probably separated Hyper Megatech from the main brands in case it didn't work out. They could then liquidate it and not jeopardize what they already had built.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that, but yeah, it's just odd. Like, it's just an odd move, because we started the shows 3 years ago. It's mental, but it's just gone 3 years.
I do remember there's one point they said, like, from Blaze made a thing, so they weren't going to bring any more hardware like that year or something, whatever it was they said, and they're going to focus on carts, not do hardware. And then Hyper Megatech came out and started releasing hardware. So yeah, it's like, why even bother saying it? Because we all know it's all kind of the same umbrella, isn't it, under those? But obviously Hyper Megatech is compatible with the Evercade carts, so it's clearly, and now it's all on Funstock. It's all the same sort of thing. But to answer your question about has it been a good thing or a bad thing, I think the Super Pockets have been a great addition to like the lineup, because a lot of people collect them as well. Like, people can have multiple ones. I still don't actually have one of them. I've just got my EXP and I've got my VS, and I want to get an Alpha at some point. But the only thing that I've not been a huge fan of was the key rings. Thought the key rings was a bit of a odd idea. I'm sure there's some people out there that love a key ring. But the Super Pocket's cool. I actually, if I do get one, I would like to get that Neo Geo one they did. That looks pretty cool. Like, not the limited edition red one, but their normal sort of black and gold one. I thought was quite a cool design.
I think the mistake they made with the keyrings was that they made them on mainstream brands that didn't include the proper version or the best version of those games. Whereas if they'd done maybe a low-tech games Super Micro, or like I put a Roguecraft one up, a kind of a mock-up, and there was a huge amount of interest in it. So like if they really focused on niche stuff on the Super Micro keychains, they may have got a better uptake on them.
I've just put a poll in. I just want to see if it has, like, in regard to us, which other hardcore audience that will, do you know what I mean, buy up all their carts and all that. I want to know what have people picked them up? What are they like? So it's just, it looks to me, it looks a bit too bulky, but yeah. So Derek, in like the ex Twitter world, do you get any people asking you like between Hyper Megatech or Evercade or what the difference is or anything like that at all?
Yeah, especially foreign people. Yeah, they haven't not always made the connection between the two companies there. I would have preferred back then that Blaze would have just done Evercade SP, stuck with that angle, ploughed the money and the proceeds into the Evercade. We perhaps at this point could have been looking then at an Evercade, say with twin sticks, for and a bit more power behind it, rather than having like 10 different alliterations of the EXP. We've got 8 million super pockets with loads of games put behind paywalls. So unless you want to collect them all, you can't play them all. If anything, I found people, once the amount of hardware started to get too broad, started to move away from the product. They saw it as a bit of a cash grab. They couldn't keep up with it. So they decided to move away. So for myself personally, I wish they hadn't started that sister company at that stage. I think it was far more important at that point, especially in the early term of the Evercade, was to plow that money into the product. I had lots of companies that were really interested in the Evercade. They wanted to come on board, but they saw the amount of hardware coming out, and a bit like Sega, they started to panic. Where was this all going? They started to move away from the platform to see exactly what was happening, rather than sort of jump in on a Mega CD or a 32X and find out the things, just going to go under. So I don't think it helped in those terms. And for myself, as I say, I think it should have been all about the Evercade. Perhaps sort of 6-7 years down the line, once you've got that money under your belt, okay, have a little bit of a look if you want to do something like that. But I think it should have been completely different from the Evercade. As you say, board games, figures, there's lots of stuff you could be doing in modern day. Lots of great gaming figures and things like that of Earthworm Jim. And, like now they're doing Doom. Well, why isn't Hyper Megatech doing a model of one of the Doom characters, or one of the, enemies or something like that? That's the sort of thing I was expecting from them. And that would be absolutely brilliant. But just to do what I call knockoff Evercade somewhere else under a different banner, it cheapened the product, to be honest. Handy as they are, but as I say, an Evercade, they could have done an Evercade SP, not a problem, and I would have thoroughly enjoyed that. But for me, as I say, Hyper Megatech sort of watered down the brand a bit.
You need to kind of look at the backdrop as well of when the first Super Pockets came out, and it was kind of the golden period of Evercade so far. So you're looking at late 23, right? That was exactly the same time they brought out the Atomic VS.
Yeah.
They had the exclusive remasters for Duke Nukem. They had Good Boy Galaxy Witch and Whiz. They had Demons. They had, what else came out?
That's my favorite year, to be honest. That's a brilliant year.
They had brilliant home computer stuff. They had Full Void as the solo cart, kind of.
Yeah. And limited edition. Yeah,
early kind of September, August-ish time. That was like a purple patch that Evercade were going through. And they were able to deliver two very good Super Pockets in the same time frame as they had the Atomic VS and all those fantastic jewel carts and an exclusive Duke Nukem and the limited edition Full Void. So they really were making great strides at the time, And we haven't seen it since.
No, we haven't. But yeah, it was like that was peak time. But it just feels odd that you then bring an Alpha out, but you keep that under the Evercade umbrella. Do you know what I mean? Then it sends mixed messages because you've got a VS home computer, an Alpha, an EXP, and then SP that has its own. Yeah, it just randomly came up. I just thought I'd ask these. It just randomly came up as we were on the website then, and I just thought I remember Ollie at the end of the episode. First thing, the last thing he said before we went off air was, "Oh, I really, really want an Earthworm Jim." Action figure boxed. That's what he said. That was the last thing he really, really wanted. He said, if they had that, I'd definitely buy it.
I'll give the viewers a tip that I'm after noticing on the new website there in the last few minutes is that it doesn't look like it's geo-locked. So I can select GB GBR or whatever and go to the UK site and see
okay.
the stuff in pounds, right?
Yeah.
I couldn't do that before. So I'm presuming people in the UK now can select the flag on the top right and go into the European store.
Let's have a
And the
look.
stock is different on both. So
There's all kinds of different ones.
if anyone in the UK is looking for the limited edition Taito and Capcom Super Pockets, they're still on the EU site. And you may well be able to get them by selecting a different flag.
Yeah, so I just clicked on United States and it's still telling me in Great British pounds.
Okay. Maybe it's different for me.
Australia, let's try that. Just clicked on Australia. No, it's still telling me, and it's the same price. So yeah, I don't know. That's something to keep an eye on.
It's allowing me to be from Algeria. Or
Yeah. There's all kinds of different ones, isn't there?
But
Right.
there's a potential people might be able to get stock that's not usually available to them in their region.
So let's go over to our second to last topic. So before we do, don't forget to get your questions in for Derek and the team at the end. But we're just going to go on to this last question, and it is, what publisher collections have been hits and what hasn't been? So it's like, so for Tim, for you, what has been a hit and a miss for the Evercade?
So I'd say a hit in terms of publisher, because I do tend to go for the indie carts and sort of game franchise collections rather than the publisher ones so much. But I think Neo Geo is probably some of the best carts they've got from the recent acquisitions. So I think Neo Geo carts are definitely a hit. You've got a good range of games. You've got 3 separate carts there. All of them, I think, are decent, worthwhile carts to have. In terms of the misses, might not be a popular opinion with this one, but I think the rare cart was a bit of a miss because the games that are good on there are good. Like, I love Battletoads. Battletoads is probably one of my favorite games. Fantastic. And then it's got the arcade version. It's got that Conkers game on there. But then a lot of the other games are just quite sort of old school retro games. They're a bit before
Spectrum
my time. They're like Spectrum game, things like that. That's not really my jam. And if you look at like the rare Rewind collection that came out not long ago on other systems that you can get pretty cheap, you've got a lot more rare games on there, and it's got things like Cobra Triangle on there as well. But then you've also got things like Banjo Kazooie and Jet Force Gemini and other things like that, which are, it's a much better collection than what we got for the Evercade. So I think Rare, as great as a IP to get, great as a publisher to get as Rare, I don't think that's the best cart they could have got out of it. So that for me is the miss.
Interesting. Like I was saying to you before we came on air, I said when you were talking about it, I said the thing is, I remember Derek saying about it as well. I was in CEX today and I picked up Rare Replay, £3, and I was like, looked at the back. Oh look, all them games plus a hell of a lot more on here for £3.
Do you know where I got? Yeah. I got that by watching. There was a Microsoft Xbox stream.
Yeah.
Of a kind of a showcase and where they announced all the new games. And if you watch that stream from beginning to end, they gave you that Rare Replay on your Xbox account. So all those games were just available to me after watching the stream. So it was free. Yeah.
So it's kind of hard not to agree with you on that one at the minute, Tim, until they release some more collections. But yeah. So Andy, what would you say has been a hit and what has been a miss?
Well, are we talking major publishers or can we go minor?
Whatever you want.
Okay, well,
whatever you want. I
would say Morphcat has been a hit for me, and I keep going back to Micro Mages, and it's brilliant. And I was that into it that I looked up to see have Morphcat done any more stuff. And I looked up their website, and they've actually started work, or they're working on a Micro Mage construction game where you can make your own levels. So can you imagine if the Evercade community could make their own Micro Mage levels and then share them through QR code or something? And how cool that'd be, that you could make your levels, share them, and then everyone plays each other's stuff. So I'd love to see some more stuff from Morphcat. I think it's an underrated cart. It doesn't get as much noise maybe as it should, but I really, really like that one. If I was going underwhelmed by a collection, I'd probably go the Tomb Raider one. So who's that? That's Core Design as they used to be. There's a new name on them now, the publisher.
Yeah, it is.
It escapes me now, but yeah, I think the Tomb Raider stuff is pretty hodgepodge.
Crystal Dynamics.
Crystal Dynamics, that's the one. And that has kind of aged very badly, and I didn't really have a whole load of fun playing it. So I'd be the type that'd be more into the 2D simple stuff because it ages much better. So you have it up there. I think you can see the Micro Mage stuff, but yeah.
Super Bat Puncher there.
Yeah.
So yeah,
we had a good fun doing the Micro Mages. We had a 4-player, didn't we?
Yeah,
with a lot of us. And I just kept getting knocked out because there's a boss, but this stuff come down. And I was safe underneath like a platform that's keeping me safe underneath from all the fire. And then the guys like pushed me out of the way, and I was dying. I was like, "Oh, thanks a lot, great teamwork, great teamwork."
Yeah, so I basically I've been doing my my indie stuff, and yeah, I've been finding a lot of this stuff was on itch.io. But yeah, Micro Mages Maker, that looks brilliant. So get that on your wish list. Definitely keep an eye on this because this would be fantastic if it came to the Evercade. Shall I play the trailer for it? Shall I?
Why not?
Yeah. I'll quickly take the sound off so I don't get done for copyright. But yeah, let's see what it looks like. So yeah, so Micro Mages is great, like with 4-player. They're saying like we were all having so much fun around Ryan's. Oh yeah, look, there you go. Pause. Move the eyeball out of the way. Do you know what I mean? It's like this would be brilliant. Imagine this on Evacade. And you've got mouse control. So yeah, I'll definitely one to keep an eye on, guys. Yeah. That's a great shout, Andy.
Especially if you can like share them and stuff as well.
Yeah. If you could share them with a QR code or something, it'd be fantastic.
So yeah, wishlist on Steam. I have. Boom. So yeah, that great shout. So I'll go to you, Derek. What's your hit and miss?
Well, I mean, like that Micro Mages idea, what you would actually build here in the Evercade community is you would actually have something like Mario Maker was for the Switch. And you think how many people made thousands and thousands of levels. You could just click on it and oh my God, but just imagine if you were sharing them to some platform where you could try other people's out and they could try yours. I mean, honestly, you would have people picking up the Evercade just for that. But one thing I don't think you'll have people picking up the Evercade for, and that's the Activision collection. I think Blaze missed a trick there. I mean, where was Hero, for instance? I mean, admittedly, there's another 2 collections to come of Activision. I can't say I'm looking forward to them. I hope they're a bit more modern than what we've had. That certainly wasn't a particular pleasure for me. As for successes, obviously, Team 17, it was massive. People love their Amiga stuff. I think Blaze should have gone after a Team 17 collection too, fairly quickly before it kind of went off the boil. A lot of new people coming in, perhaps don't know too much about Team 17, or again, that was back in 23 and they broke the top 40 with that collection. Yeah. They were steamrolling all, full steam ahead. So that was really exceptional. I think Rare did miss a trick. A lot of people like myself would have preferred games like Killer Instinct on there. They're massive to get the arcade versions. To have a few Spectrum games, which I own Spectrums. I had Spectrums. As long as you got the Spectrum Mini, there's really no need to have an Evercade cartridge. And as I say, those versions of Battletoads is okay, but I think my days of Battletoads are pretty much done in that direction. I think one that perhaps also won't go down quite so well is Turrican. Of course, that's coming later this month, but I just don't hear the buzz around it. People getting excited for it. Obviously, you've can already get it, whether it's on Steam or you can get a collection on Switch as well. So I just don't see the buzz building around it. I feel the Taito cartridges. Where was the Rainbow Islands? Where was the Paracel Stars? The ones I remember. There's some really obscure ones on there, which again they're just not fun. If I'm on it, so I would love to see Blaze, perhaps with the Tomb Raider collections, they could have looked at the Game Boy Color version of Tomb Raider. Again, that brings something a little bit obscure that a lot of people haven't got. I've got it, but that's the sort of thing people want to play. Again, I've got them all on the PlayStation 1. I picked them up at a car boot. They probably cost me like £1, and I've got all the versions on the PS1. So I would have liked to have seen them try a different angle. I definitely would have picked it up. Otherwise, as I say, things like Broken Sword, on the other hand, magnificent. I would really like people to try out, especially people that heard about the early problems that have since been sorted. And now the mouse control, go and pick up Broken Sword. Honestly, you owe it to yourself. You will enjoy it. You'll have a good laugh at the stories, and I think that was one, as I say, unfortunately, because at the beginning there were those few problems. Again, it went a little bit under the radar. A few people said, oh no, I'm not going to pick that up and whatnot. But if you did overlook it, it's still readily available. So go and grab a copy now.
Yeah. It's really, so yes, mine is pretty much, I was saying Derek's lit the nail on the head on most of them. Exactly how I feel the Rare. For me personally, I do think Turpan's been very good for them. I think Atari's done very well, even though some of them have gone legacy, which I find a bit odd. The Gremlin collections I don't think have gone down too well, which is a shame, especially over the pond they haven't.
It was the price point.
And and that's what I think the issue was. I think the 20 anything with PlayStation, like PlayStation versions, they've just banged up £25, and I think that kind of hasn't helped at all. Also, the Kai Software, the ones that do Metal Dragon and Life on Mars. I'm really hoping we get Life on Earth and get the other game. Got a great game coming out, a Cowboy Western one, which I've been looking into while I've been doing my indie stuff. So yeah, I do think there is some great stuff, but there has been they've managed to get them on there, like you're saying, like with Rare, but then haven't really got the games that have excited people. Like you're saying, like we've got 2 carts that come out, they'll be out by the time we come on to the next show, and like I just know in the X world, but I haven't seen, I know they're trying to get posts, I haven't really seen anyone excited about them, like Turrican, so yeah, it'd be interesting to see how they do.
Possibly they have the wrong versions of the Turrican games to get people excited, because maybe people don't have the same nostalgia for the versions they've included. I mean, I'd be a Commodore 64 kid, and they don't have those versions on the cartridge.
Me.
So
yeah.
They need to look at their demographic and see what were these people actually playing when this game came out originally. So for me, and where I'm from, it would be largely Commodore 64 or Amiga. It was less so home console,
Yeah, really interesting. Fine, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. Gremlin 2 is one of the few carts that hit the UK physical sales chart. So, yeah, pitch at £25. Hopefully it did. Right. So we've been over an hour. Let's go on to our final part of this show, and that is Dear Derek.
Do you have a question? Well, now's your chance. It's time to ask Derek.
So at the minute, we've only got one question starred, so people haven't been answering anyone. So we need to get some questions in if you want to carry on. Otherwise, we can just finish up early. But the first question I've got here is Coswell Knight. When will we find out what the next 2 carts are? It's got to be
You're
soon.
coming up into that time right now. Yeah, it is. Again, I think Blaze have left it too late. They've had a good couple of months here. They could have done a cart last month and a cart this month, and let people sort of digest it and talk about it. rather than just sort of push 2 out the window and nobody really knows, which game they're going to speak about and all that sort of stuff. If you give people time, they've got plenty of chance to think about it. I know what they're thinking. Just in case it isn't that popular, they'll push them out of the last minute and then hope people pre-order. Frightened that obviously they'll go out of stock. But I think if they did a nice build-up, one last month, one this month, that would have worked a lot better. But yeah, you're going to hear very, very shortly. And what we got to hope for is lots of Amiga games. I'm going to say the name of a company. In fact, I just want to say a name of a fantastic modern indie company that I've been speaking to for about the last 4 or 5 years, and that is Bitbeam Canon. Absolutely fantastic company, amazing Amiga games. So let's just hope we work with them in the future.
Oh, so yeah, I was about to put this next question up there, but I think you've just done it for us already. Next one I've got on here is no game of the month, by the way. So nothing's been announced for that. Nothing's been announced for that yet. So
no, end of March, April. Yeah, end of March, April. But unfortunately, from what I'm hearing, it's going to be the highlight of the month again. Not the indie game or the home computer game, but the highlight of the month again. I really, really don't want this. I'm pushing for this not to be the case, but that is what's coming out of the old HQ, unfortunately.
Bollocks. We're looking at the next few cards. What are we looking at for you cards? The red, blue, or purple? What do you reckon?
Oh, lordy, Lord. There's going to be a good mixture this year. Which way round Blaze are doing it as anybody's guess. Obviously, we know those arcade collections that come in, obviously, more Neo Geo and things like that. So, but yeah, we're hoping for a decent wallop of blue cards this year. Where, we just didn't get that much last year. So, home computer fans, I hope there is some. And obviously, we want that indie. I know it's going to be thin on the ground. But, it's not how much you get, it's what you get. So, let's fingers crossed on the indie scene.
Dear Derek, why haven't Blaze chased after more projects like they did with the Duke remasters? They're where the money is. Also, the exclusives sell consoles, especially great retro exclusives like Duke.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, as I've said before, Biomenace obviously has received a remaster recently. I know the guys, and it has been tested on Everacade Versus, so I know it can run on one. Hopefully, Blaze are tracking them down fiercely. As I say, they did do some licensing to do with Biomenace, actually. So they are there in the credits. If you have a look. But I mean, that's the sort of thing we need. We need exclusives. What I'm worried about again with Biomenace is obviously it's going to come out on Steam, it's going to come out on PC and whatnot. And there's other ways for people to grab a copy. We do need those exclusives. And that's why I think they should go after Commander Keen and give that sort of a remaster, not go too crazy again, like they did with Duke Nukem 1. So it's subtle, but fantastic. And I really do think that, something like that would be ideal. And while they've got ID, they might as well get on board and get something like that.
Yeah, hopefully. Did Eric, One Life Left, or OLL, and Debug conventions are happening in April in Norwich. Do you think Blaze will attend both and actually do some self-promotion?
Well, I mean, we've heard they're going to do all this American promotion this year. So I'd imagine they're going to be jetting across the pond to do all this, and they best crack on with it. I don't know. They've announced they're going to be anywhere yet. So for cracking America, I would suggest they need to sort of, have a really, really good think about that and get on with it. Would I like to see them here in the UK pushing? Absolutely. This is the home of Blaze Entertainment. I think there's a lot more needs to be done here in the UK. When I speak to people about the Everacade, it's still not widely known about. I've done a lot of promotion around retro gaming clubs and things like that. But every time there's people in the room who are surprised, who don't really know what it is. They know it, don't know there's exclusives like remasters on there or anything. I really do think there's a lot more work to do here in the UK before we start worrying about, trying to crack America. I know that's their angle. They want to do it, but you know, again, it's putting together the right team if you're going to go in that direction to try and get the word out. So yeah, fingers crossed. There's a master plan in the pipeline.
Yeah. Got another one here from Luke Thorpe. So have to get Sega this year. Do you think we'll be getting Sega? Is that something we could actually get on the Evercade?
I don't think it's unrealistic. I worked with Sega years ago. They're a pretty approachable company, especially when Sega Europe was here. So obviously they're slightly different than they were, but I don't see it. There's any rate of Blaze Entertainment getting them on board. Again, it's all about creation. Make sure we get things like Outrunners, you know, things that are a little bit different that other people aren't doing. The last thing we want is a collection with Sonic the Hedgehog on, which you can get everywhere. So they've really got to think about it. Or go down the Game Gear route, obviously, and get some Sonic the Hedgehog and things like that. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of exclusives. You know, a bit of Axe Battler. Yeah, bit of Axe Battler. I'm sure that would go down massively. You know, try and get some Psycho Fox on there and mix it up with a bit of, I don't know, pro wrestling and things like that. And honestly, I really do think it would. It'd make a fantastic collection.
Yeah. When and what might be expected in terms of hardware announcements? I think,
well, obviously an alpha, EXPs. We don't want any more key rings. I hope Blaze has heard us loud and clear. For some reason, I think the earplugs are in. So we are going to see some down the line, but I'd much rather we didn't. So yeah, I mean, if they could just like do a video that's blank, that doesn't show anything, that would be greatly appreciated. I'd rather those time and effort went into indie titles on the Evercade rather than worrying about another 4 key rings. But yeah, obviously there will be more hardware down the line. So yeah, just keep your eyes peeled and hopefully it's for you.
Yeah, and then the last one we've got, do you think Blaze will ever bring us MS-DOS collection? Really surprised we haven't seen one yet. I'm sure there's some classics to explore. Oof. That would be a big one.
Well, I mean, obviously the Duke Nukem remasters were obviously a type of DOS version. So it is totally possible. Obviously the licensing's the tricky part, depending on what you're after from the DOS era. But again, there's millions and millions of great games that are very easy to license, and hopefully, I mean, they'll work on that, because I mean, I had loads of DOS games years ago that I would love to replay again. Again, that's something that would drag me in rather than give me something that I've already got on a console like Doom or Turrican or whatever that you can get anywhere. I want to get something I can't get on Evercade, because that's not only going to attract me, but it's going to attract new people to the platform who look at it and say, oh, I remember MS-DOS. Oh, wow, there's 2 or 3 collections there. If I buy that, it's totally worth it. So, I really do think that's an angle Blaze needs to get on and explore this year.
So, yeah, there's some MXS over DOS. So it's definitely some, like, we're all saying the same things there. We want exclusive stuff. We want stuff we can't get everywhere else. We want them things on Evercade. We really hope that them guys are listening. I know they do watch, so fingers crossed. Right. So it's time to wrap this part of that is episode 77 done. Members only. We'll be doing our recording for that straight after the show. But as usual, guys, where can we hear? Where can we see? Where can we find you guys? So, Derek, where can we find you? Oh, as you took this drink, sorry, mate.
I'm over on Twitter. That's all right. I'm over on Twitter and I'm over on Blue Sky. So, yeah, definitely come and check me out and let's talk all things gaming.
Brilliant. Andy, where can we find you?
I'll be on the Evecade Hangout on Facebook as usual, spreading nonsense and answering questions.
Yeah, there's a link for the Hangout there. So you can just scan that if you're new. You're finding us on the Shorts feed, scan that and it takes you straight to the Facebook group. So, Tim, where can we find you?
You can find me here every week, unless I have a trouser accident. Hopefully not any more of those for a while, because I've had enough of that. And the Facebook group that we have, the Total Video Games Facebook group, come and join us on there and join some chat. We've got a console of the week running at the moment, and this week's console is the PlayStation 2.
Yeah, so we're talking all things PlayStation 2 over there. You're really enjoying it. So yeah, I'm Blunners as usual. I am everywhere. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'm all over our Blue Sky, our X account, our TikTok account, YouTube. I'm doing loads of stuff on indie at the minute. And I'm also doing an Indie for Evercade series, which I'm now on episode 4 or 5. And the latest one has just dropped, so go and find that on the channel. These are games that I really do feel that the Evercade would love to have, like indie games, which I know we're not getting as many this year. So that's why I'm banging the drum, because I want them to see my content and I want them to start looking for these type of games. So thank you to everyone for joining us in the chat. Thank you to everyone, all the guests as well. Thank you to Andy for jumping in last minute again. Yes, so we will see you in 2 weeks' time. Hopefully we've all got our new carts and we can talk about them. So we'll see you in the next one. Peace.